right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
It was supposed to be a fun night at the movies, but it turned into a traumatic experience for many families.
I got hit multiple times, but as I was getting hit, there was the sound going off. So it was like, it was like just automatic, like a bunch of rounds going off.
Tonight, a victim who helped police arrest the AMC Theater shooter talks exclusively with 5 on Your Side. A home explosion rocks part of the bi-state overnight.
I mean, it made my whole house shake.
Now investigators are sifting through the rubble to figure out what caused it to blow up.
Cloud-covered rain to start the day. We still reach the low 90s. Why, we'll break that streak tomorrow, and if that's a trend that continues into the month of July.
We are kicking off tonight with a look at our weather first forecast. It is a gorgeous night downtown, but we've been tracking storms southwest of St. Louis throughout the evening. Thanks for joining us at 10 o'clock. I'm Holden Kerwicki. Brett Solomon is off tonight. Say goodbye to the heat and humidity as a cold front moves through the bi-state, but is that going to stick around for the 4th? I know that's the question everybody's wondering. Meteorologist Gary Frank is here with more in our weather first forecast.
Yeah, it's not going to be cool for the 4th, but we're going to try to keep it dry as we can. Right now, it's anything but dry. Just walking outside, you're immediately sweating, and there are a few areas that are impacted by a few showers and storms. And of course, you can see that one lone county on the bottom of your screen here that shows you that we have one severe thunderstorm watch. That's it. Otherwise, it's in the mid 80s. It feels like 92. The dew point at 74. That's borderline unbearable at 10 o'clock. And that's one of the reasons until we get that front that fully moves through, we still have to worry about at least a couple of showers and storms. And I'm not really worried about severe weather. There is still, like I mentioned, you still have Phelps County until 11 o'clock technically, but I'd have a hard time believing that it's going to be much of an issue or last that long. But there are a few showers and storms around there. We haven't seen anything relatively close to severe weather near our area, but there are a few pop-up showers and storms north of that in Gasconade and even in the Metro East, a sprinkle here as well. Otherwise tonight, it will actually be cooler. Storms and any of the storms that even exist at all, most of us staying dry. So you're not going to be waking up with storms, but you're going to wake up with temps in the low to mid 60s in some spots outside of the city, and it gets even cooler beyond that. We'll talk about that 4th of July forecast and our next chance for rain coming up in a few.
All right, thank you, Gary. For the first time, we're hearing from one of the victims who was shot by a fake gun at the AMC Theater in Creve Coeur. 5 on Your Side's Megan Kernan joins us in the studio after sitting down with the man who chased the shooter out of the theater. Megan?
Holden, last Saturday, a St. Anne man and his 2 sons were enjoying the new kids movie Inside Out 2 when a child took out a gel pellet gun and opened fire. The dad sprung into action, ran after the suspect, and is now being praised for helping lead to his arrest.
There's about 10 minutes left in the movie. Some commotion started going on. I looked over and seen somebody with a mask on.
Wallace Bell was enjoying movie night with his 12-year-old and 6-year-old sons when he noticed a young boy stand up at the front of the theater with a fake gun in hand.
No sooner than 3 seconds of him having my attention, I'm getting shot. So I got shot about 5 times. My 12-year-old got shot, and then my 6-year-old started screaming. So that's when he got shot in the face. I immediately knew that it was a pellet gun because I got shot with it.
Bell says the people behind him could only see a boy in a mask, not knowing if the gun was real or not.
I just started climbing over people to get to the gunman and make him stop. Everybody was like balled up and pinned down because he was shooting. I think I was still getting hit as I was climbing over people.
That's when Bell chased the shooter out of the theater.
His brother tried to stop me. He's like, hey, wait, this is my brother. I'm like, yeah, well, he shot my kid in the face. Get to the hallway. I look left, I look right. I can't find him.
5 minutes pass by, and suddenly, he spots the boy and his brother.
And I'm chasing them, and they cross the highway. There's sirens going off. They could see the police, and they ran directly into the direction of the police just to get away from the crazy man that was chasing them.
Police arrested the child. He's since been released back to his parents.
It took about 2 days for the mark to go away on my son on his face right here. He was terrified. He said he didn't want to go to the movie theater anymore. When he was asking questions like, well, if we go to the zoo, will this happen? If we go to the park, will he be there?
Bell says the theater manager handed out free vouchers to patrons. He feels like they should have done more to protect them.
Even after the situation, there wasn't a guard for me to talk to. There wasn't a guard searching bags. If you were just looking for candy, you would have found a mask and a Nerf gun.
Creve Coeur police tell us at least 20 people have filed complaints about the incident. Detectives are still asking for more people to come forward. With each complaint, the child could face a new charge, including assault, disturbing the peace, or making a terrorist threat.
Megan, thank you. Right now, investigators are trying to figure out what sparked a home explosion overnight near Eureka. Crews responded to the home on Rivers End Drive around 11 last night and quickly put out the fire. First responders say no one was in the home at the time of the explosion and no one was injured. Neighbors tell 5 on Your Side they felt it from miles away.
And I know it's 4th of July, and I hit this boom, and I'm like, wait a minute, it made my whole house shake. And I'm like, that was no firecracker. Can I live, like I said, I'm an easy 3 football fields away,
Some people posted on social media saying they felt the boom as far away as Wildwood. It may take investigators weeks to find out exactly what caused that explosion. Right now, the Major Case Squad is investigating a shooting that killed a teen in Cahokia Heights. It happened around 5 this morning on Williams Street near K Street. Officers found 17-year-old Terrence Booker shot multiple times in front of a home. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Right now, no suspects have been identified. If you have any information, please call Crime Stoppers. That number is 866-371-TIPS. Tonight, we have new information in a missing persons case in South St. Louis. 20-year-old Keon Taylor was last seen on June 23rd. We've learned he was spotted at the Off Track Saloon on June 25th wearing a hospital bracelet. A bar patron concerned for his health gave him food and water and called police, but told 5 on Your Side Taylor wandered off before officers arrived. He was last seen headed south on Broadway. If you have any information about his whereabouts, you're asked to call the Missing Persons Unit at 314-444-5301. We now know when the old Chesterfield Mall will be torn down. Our partners at the St. Louis Business Journal report that the demolition is scheduled for October 15th. The property was purchased by the Steinberg Group back in 2020. Demolition is just step one of its $2 billion redevelopment plan. The mall will officially close its doors to the public in August.
1, 2, 3.
One of the Midwest's biggest Pride events is taking place this weekend right here in downtown St. Louis. Pride Fest brings live entertainment, local vendors, and the LGBTQIA community all to one place to celebrate the city's diversity. Organizers say this is especially important at a time when anti-gay measures have come out of the state legislature.
Because of all the rhetoric that we hear, the anti-LGBTQI plus rhetoric that we hear now, it's important to see be visible and out and let people know that that kind of language is not going to get us down, that we're a resilient people, resilient community, and we're going to stand up and we're going to fight, and we are here and we are queer.
Pride Fest continues Sunday from 11 until 6 o'clock. And don't forget, tomorrow the Grand Pride Parade kicks off downtown. It starts at noon at 10th and Market and then runs west on Market to 16th Street. If you can't make it downtown to see it in person, well, you can stream it. Watch the entire parade live on 5 Plus on your Apple, Roku, or Fire TV.
Coming up, debuting the Great American Bar Scene.
We're super, super grateful that he's doing this and all the love from other people we're getting.
Why Zack Bryans picked this Maplewood establishment to help release his new album. Donald Trump's new campaign promise calls to end taxes on tips. The Verify team checks to see if presidents really have the power to put a pause on the practice.
These dew points in the 70s, that's responsible for your extremely sticky day for most of Saturday. That changes on Sunday. How low we go and how long we can hold on to this stretch of dry air.
Ahead of 4th of July, many people are already shopping for the holiday. The National Retail Federation says people are spending a little less this year. Those who celebrate are expected to spend around $90 per person on food alone. If that sounds a little expensive for hot dogs, well, it's down $3 from last year. Nationwide, Americans are expected to shell out $9.4 billion total for their Independence Day celebrations. And if you're looking for a fireworks show in the St. Louis area, we've got you covered. Text the word fireworks to 314-425-5355 and we'll send you a list. Tonight, a local bowling alley is getting a sneak peek at Zack Bryans' new album. Bryant handpicked 23 bars across the country to debut his new album, The Great American Bar Scene. One of those locations is Saratoga Lanes in Maplewood. According to the staffers, the country music star chose them after hearing about it from a St. Louis local on his team.
Sean is from St. Louis, around Maplewood. He's been coming to Saratoga for a little while, and he told Zack this was one of the places he should choose, and I guess Zack agreed, so here we are.
The Great American Bar Scene is set to be released on July 4th.
Sticky outside right now. We're going to continue to monitor that as we have a cold front. We'll show you where the dry air settles in and we'll more effectively get rid of the rain chances.
Former President Trump surprised some party members this month when he proposed exempting tips from being taxed. Some have questioned whether that's even possible. Casey Decker with our National Verify team dug into it.
Some Trump supporters are taking a unique new approach to promoting the former president's 2024 campaign. When they go out to eat, they're writing, "Vote Trump to keep all of your tips." This inspired by one of Trump's latest campaign promises, exempting tips from taxes.
When I get to office, we are going to not charge taxes on tips, and we're going to do that right away, first thing in office.
Trump hasn't said how he plans to do that, but some people have claimed the president doesn't even have that power. So let's verify. Can the president exempt tips from taxes? Our sources are the Internal Revenue Code, the IRS, the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget, Senator Ted Cruz, and Congressman Matt Gaetz. Federal law classifies tips as wages and wages as taxable income. Employees are required to report their tips and pay income taxes on them, and employers have to pay payroll taxes on them. The president has some powers to change how laws are interpreted or enforced, but given how explicit the law is here, any attempts to exempt tips by executive order alone would almost certainly be blocked by the courts. There are only two ways to actually change federal law. One is for the courts to strike down the law as unconstitutional, which won't happen here since this law has been on the books for decades. The other is for Congress to pass a new law. Some of Trump's Republican allies in Congress have already proposed legislation to exempt tips from taxes. Texas Senator Ted Cruz introduced a bill that would allow you to deduct any tips you earn from federal income tax. And Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz introduced a bill that would essentially remove tips from the federal tax code completely, meaning they wouldn't even have to be reported to the IRS. Both bills are brand new, so neither has yet been thoroughly debated. But one nonprofit group, the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget, has already warned proposals like these could cost tens of billions of dollars a year and encourage businesses of all kinds to change their fee structures in order to take advantage of the exemption. So, can the president exempt tips from taxes? The answer needs context. He can't do it by himself, but he can encourage Congress to pass a law for him to sign. And even if that happens, tips could still be taxed at the state or local level. With your Verify, I'm Casey Decker.
Do you have anything you'd like for us to verify? Shoot us an email to verify@ksdk.com. Developing tonight, the National Hurricane Center is tracking the first Atlantic hurricane of the year. Hours ago, Tropical Storm Beryl strengthened to a Category 1 hurricane and is now threatening islands in the Caribbean. A hurricane watch is now in effect for Barbados, St. Lucia, Grenada, and many other islands. Experts say this is just one of dozens of storms to expect this season.
Well, NOAA's official seasonal forecast is out already, and we are forecasting above normal activity this year with 17 to 25 named storms, 8 to 13 hurricanes, 4 to 7 major hurricanes. So it's well above average.
Right now, Beryl is too far away to tell if it'll hit any part of the U.S. We will keep you updated in the coming days. Joining us now is Weather First meteorologist Gary Frank. And Gary, obviously it's going to be days before we know anything about that storm, but you have been tracking some small cells to our southwest.
Yeah, and it's all part of this hot and humid air that's kind of settled in. We need to finally get that cold front through. Even at this hour, it's in the mid 80s, and you look, and we're in the low 70s in Kirksville, and I realize that Kirksville, it seems like it's always cold. It's like the coldest place in Missouri, it seems like, but This is where this cool air, mid-60s in Des Moines, it's coming. It's just taking its sweet time to get here, and as it's sitting here, it really is still, as long as that front is around and interacting with this humidity. And our dew points right now, 60s behind it, and that's important. 80s to the south. I mean, you're talking low 80 dew points. And that's why we were talking about this yesterday, where the potential for some brief, locally heavy rainfall is there, and then some of us missed out on it completely. The atmosphere is incredibly saturated. This is about as high as it gets on our dew point meter, mid to upper 70s locally. This will feel so much better tomorrow. This is our one lone county that we talked about in that severe thunderstorm watch for the next 40 minutes. It's relatively irrelevant. Say that 3 times fast. We have a few scattered showers from Litchfield to Carrollton, not severe, from Gerald to really pretty much anywhere outside of our area north of Rolla, but that's what's moving south. As I put this into motion, you can see why this big area of rain that's moving slowly, it has a lot of rain. That's why they have flash flood warnings off to the southwest. Not impacting us, but as that front continues to sag south, we still may see a few pop-up showers or storms. I think this is kind of overdoing it, but just keep that in mind. As this front is around and it's so humid, I think that especially areas to the south still may get some rain. I don't think it's going to be severe, though. We really have not seen that. There's some limiting forces above the atmosphere. But storms end tonight. Look at these 60s. Eventually, they'll get here from north to south, and a lot of it has to do with the cloud cover from Sparta, Mount Vernon. It probably hang to around 70, where that cold front ushers in some drier air from Troy, Jerseyville, and Litchfield. You're in the low to mid 60s, but watch this dew point. I mean, these numbers go from the mid to upper 70s down to the 50s. And look, even as I scan this through the rest of Sunday into early Monday, perhaps 40s, that's going to cool us off. I might even turn my AC off for a day. Maybe not tomorrow afternoon, much less humid in the low 80s in the city. But as we look ahead to the holiday, I do think that there's kind of a mix of rain late Wednesday into first part of Thursday for sure, and our way too early 4th of July forecast tells us that storms will probably be around in the morning, even around by the afternoon, but then we're kind of clearing out. At least that's the way I see it right now. So I don't know that we're going to get clear in time for the fireworks displays, but we're going to try. But those are only 2 days with significant rain in the forecast, which is okay, but you know it's going to disrupt the holidays a little bit.
I'm just looking forward to those cool temperatures.
I'm looking forward to the morning in the 50s.
Yes.
Where I live in the boonies, it's going to be almost 40.
Hey,
9.
49. There we
49.
go. All right,
Yeah.
Thanks, Gary. All right, Corey, what do we got going on in the world of sports?
City has a late one tonight in Canada. The Cardinals could not quite take the heat against the Reds today, and one Blues draft pick has an interesting local connection. Stick around, sports is up next.
This 5 on Your Side Sports Report is sponsored by Telly Tire and Auto Centers, driving your way since 1942.
For St. Louis City SC, when it rains, it pours. They haven't won a match since May 11th, and their injury report looked like this heading into tonight's match against Toronto. It's tough right now, but there is no time to feel sorry for themselves. Roman Berkey gets tonight off in Vancouver. No Klaus either with a knee injury. So it's Edward Leuven wearing the captain armband and Johnny Klein getting his first MLS start. And wouldn't you know it, at the most shorthanded they've been all season, City scores right off the bat. Jabulo Blum off a Whitecaps player, 1-0 City, 6 minutes in. Then City gets a handball penalty kick and Leuven buries it. City up 2-0 12 minutes in. Who are these guys? It is currently 2-1 City in Vancouver. Cards Reds on a humid day at Busch Stadium with Isaac Bruce throwing the pregame heat. Fifth inning was the Cards' undoing. 2-1 with Sonny Gray on the mound. Nolan Arenado cannot make the play with the bases loaded. A run scored and the floodgates opened since he scored 6 in the inning. Important debut on the mound today, though. Gordon Graceffo did his job out of the bullpen for the Cards. 4 1/3, 1 run, his first career strikeout, and his family going wild in the stands. Cards do lose this one 9-4, and they are crawling to the end of this homestand.
If I'm being quite honest, are on fumes. We need to dig deep, figure out a way to win tomorrow, and then get to that off day, and then regroup and go back at it.
You want to know that your stuff plays here, and that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to put everything in the zone and attack these guys and show them what I'm about, and I think I did a good job of that. And definitely going multiples. Like ultimately in this game, I want to be a starter, so just being able to show them that I can go more than 2 innings and go deep into games, that's part of it.
Last night, the baseball world lost another Hall of Famer. Orlando Cepeda has died. He was most known as a San Francisco Giant, but he did play 3 years here in St. Louis. His 1967 was magical. Cepeda won the NL MVP and helped the Cardinals beat the Red Sox in the World Series. Orlando Cepeda was 86 years old. Drafting in professional sports is kind of like gambling. You're betting on the future of teenage kids, hoping at least one hits it big. So there was no better place to hold a draft than Las Vegas, Nevada. But before the Blues wrapped up their draft class, they did have a move to make. Kevin Hayes' stint as a St. Louis Blue will only last one season. Today, the Blues traded Hayes to the Pittsburgh Penguins along with a second-round pick in 2025 in return for future considerations. St. Louis acquired Hayes from the Flyers last offseason. He scored 13 goals and added 16 assists in 1 year with the Note. The Blues put a bow on their draft class today in Las Vegas. They went with big defensemen early in first-rounder Adam Jiricek and second-rounders Colin Ralph and Lucas Fisher. Then they filled in their remaining picks with some forwards from all over the world. Back to Ralph, though. He was taken 48th overall and is a 6'4", 18-year-old defenseman from Minnesota. However, he's got some St. Louis ties. He played 16U hockey here in St. Louis and even attended Kirkwood High School for a year. Go figure.
Yeah, it's surreal. Kind of a storybook. Seems like it's out of a movie or something. The ability to skate at my size and still use my brain and play physical, kind of the culmination of those kind of four things, is what makes me valuable.
Before we go tonight, we want to wish Holden and his wife congratulations.
All right, thank you, Gary.
They're expecting a baby due next week. Holden will be enjoying several weeks of bonding while he's out on paternity leave. He will return to 5 on Your Side in the middle of August, and I hope you are stocked up on some sleep time before you take this break, because it's not going to be a break.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot more work, so I might be begging to come back with you guys. That's all of your time here on 5 on Your Side at 10 o'clock. Saturday Night Live is next.